Hello, Perfect Blends family. I hope you are all doing well on this beautiful spring day. As you can hear in the background, I have lots of birds just chirping and singing away. It sounds so pretty. But anyways, I am here because I wanted to share with you all my personal health and wellness journey and to give you a perspective as to why I decided to put the health and wellness program together, which is called Well Nourished Moms, and to give you an idea as to why I put it together and based upon my personal journey. So when I was 34, kind of turning 35, I found out that I was expecting my fourth child, Mr. Daniel. He is 8 years old now, and at the time, I was not expecting him. My husband and I were not expecting at all that we would be having another child. So at first, it was a shock. And at one point I wasn't very happy because I had a lot of plans, my own personal plans, that I had put together. I had moved to Jersey at the time, moving from Park Slope, Brooklyn, and moving into a new home, moving into a new state. Also, pretty much starting to attend a new church, and it was just a lot of changes. So at the time, the finding out that I was expecting was a big surprise. But with that came a lot of just health concerns that I started realizing and paying more attention at how I was feeling, why I was feeling a certain way. And I couldn't really pinpoint what the problem was. I was very moody, I was cranky. And even before I found out that I was expecting, I was going through I was having these mild symptoms and situations that were just happening, but I didn't focus on them because I was doing so much. I was, registering to go back to nursing school. I was, decorating a new home and pretty much adjusting to my environment. So I really thought that it was just some stress. It was just because I was doing a lot. I was very busy. We were doing a lot of renovations. So I pretty much blamed it on that and didn't really focus on like what was actually happening internally. So throughout my pregnancy, I went through this process thinking, and then from the pregnancy, I thought it was just the pregnancy symptoms, right? The aches, the pain, and all of that. So after I gave birth to Daniel, I had a really wonderful delivery, thank God. And even though after I had Daniel, a year or two later, some of these symptoms got really worse. So what were they? Pretty much I had a lot of headaches, just mild headaches, but they were constant. They weren't severe or chronic pain, but I realized that I was constantly getting headaches. I had aches and pains in my joints. What else? I was very moody. I was very cranky. I was unable to like multitask. That was my biggest thing. That's when I realized, okay, I need to get checked by my doctor, because I'm someone that can multitask. I'm able to multitask well and efficiently. Not multitask doing 10 things at once, but I can do 3 things, 4 things at once throughout the day where I'm able to like function properly, get these tasks done efficiently and keep it moving. But when I realized I couldn't get some of these things done, I couldn't get one task done throughout the day, or I struggled throughout the day to get one specific thing done, whether it is, to clean out the house, or whether it's to make doctor's appointments, get the kids, to the different destinations after school. I just realized that I was struggling, like my body took extra time and energy to move, to get out of bed. Then I started self-diagnosing myself. Don't do that, guys. Don't do that, because you're going to drive yourself crazy. You're going to diagnose yourself with something that you don't have, okay? I've done that. because I'm not a big fan of just going to the doctor. I am very traditional in, boiling some tea, some herbs, making some herbs and boiling them and drinking them. And then we're good to go, and I feel better. So that's it. So it took me some time to actually take the step and say, you know what, it's time for me to see my doctor, give her a call, get some blood work done. It took me some time. I'm talking about a year to 2 years. And I don't suggest anybody taking that long. If you notice you having certain aches and pains that are long lasting, that you never had before, and you're not really doing any strenuous work. I don't do a lot of strenuous work besides me being in the backyard doing some gardening, but I don't do any heavy lifting. I don't do any of that, but it felt like I was like doing some heavy labor. That's how exhausted I started to feel. So and so when I finally decided to go to the doctor, because I realized that I was having trouble multitasking, besides the moodiness, the fatigue, the the crankiness, you name it, I had all these just mild symptoms that were just starting to really take over and take a toll on me, where I just was unable to function. I thought it was just depression. Like I said, I started to self-diagnose myself. I went on Google and all these different things. I thought, I had some kidney issues, just all these things I started to read that weren't necessarily the problem. So when I did go to the doctor, we had some blood work done. Nothing. Everything was perfectly fine. All my blood work was perfectly fine. And I'm like, something's wrong. Well, she was like, well, it's probably stress. You have 4 kids. You were going through a lot of changes. You still have renovations going on. So we blamed it on pretty much my environment, right? And I'm like, I didn't really take all of that, but I just let her talk. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to figure out what is wrong with me, right? Then I thought about looking into a holistic doctor. But in New Jersey at the time, I couldn't really find anyone that I was comfortable with. And I was so accustomed to a traditional doctor going in there. They do the blood work, tell you what to do, not tell you what to do, but give you some prescriptions, giving you some anxiety prescriptions. What did they give me one time? Some sleeping aid. I can't remember the name of it for some reason, but anyways, and that's it. So I decided I needed to look into a holistic doctor. That took some time to do some research. I still don't have one quite, but I've been following a couple of nurses and doctors that are really into the holistic lifestyle, and I've been pretty much implementing some of their suggestions and ideas and recipes, and that has really changed my lifestyle. So after I went to the doctor, she told me everything looks good. Then I'm like, everything looks good on paper, but everything is not good in me, because I don't feel well. I didn't feel like I was myself. I'm someone who's extremely energetic, very up and going, uplifted, you know what I mean? Even when I'm tired or I'm fatigued, I still had, that burst of energy in me. So I'm like, what is going on? So I started, obviously going on YouTube, checking to see, different detoxes. I started to talk to family and friends. I spoke to my mom. My mom is very traditional, so she went back to the whole the herbs. She's just all about the herbs. She's like, well, you need to do a cleanser. Let's give you, some cleansing. Let's detox you through herbs. So there's different ways to detox your body. Some people choose, to do the juicing, the smoothies. They do the fasting. And there's still just so many different ways of detoxifying and cleansing your body. But my mom pretty much uh, shared what she knew as a child and as growing up as a young woman back in Haiti. She just went for the herbs. So I just followed through. That's also what I grew up with. My grandmother was big on herbs and natural cooking and natural eating. So I pretty much started focusing more on that. And the herbs did really help. It did take some time. Um, it did take a couple of months to start feeling a little bit better, but I do have to say that they do work. It just takes long, especially some of the ones that I was not accustomed to drinking. I am accustomed to drinking herbs, my chamomile, my mint, my ginger tea, all of these, all fresh and natural herbs. I'm accustomed to drinking those, but after a while, drinking the same thing and not changing it didn't after a while your body just gets accustomed to it, and it doesn't do it doesn't add any changes, or is not as beneficial as if you were to mix your herbs up every now and then, mix up your teas and things like that. Is not as not as beneficial. Your body gets accustomed to the same thing, and then it no longer helps. Is not as effective. That's what I was looking for, but it's not as effective as it was before. So changing things up a little bit, changing up your diet once in a while is more beneficial for your body. So with that being said, I did the herbs. That did help. And then as I was doing some more studying, more reading, I realized that let me change my diet. Let me change the way I eat, right? As I said, I'm Caribbean. Although I wasn't like the worst eater or the worst cook, I believed at the time that I was pretty much healthy and decent in my cooking. As I'm Caribbean, like I keep saying, for some reason, I don't know why, but we eat a lot of starchy food. We eat a lot of rice. Rice is one of the main dishes in our meals. Lots of rice and beans, white rice and peas, rice and this, rice and rice and rice and rice. And a lot of meats. We also eat a lot of meats. Like our food has to be paired up with the meat and a little bit of vegetables. Let's keep it real. So at the time, although I grew up with my grandmother, very traditional, she used to eat a lot of vegetables because she was diabetic. She had high blood pressure. She had glaucoma, all these different conditions she had. And she used to cook very healthy at home. But as you grow up, you get out of the household, you grow up and you on your own, you pretty much pick up bad habits. You pick up bad eating habits. And I would say that I had some of those. And it took me some time where I became an adult, having my own family, my own children, and then bumping into these health concerns, personal health concerns. That's when I pretty much went back to what I originally knew, what I was taught as to how to eat and what to cook, and pretty much pairing up your food properly. So when it came to me having to change up the way I eat, I just said, you know what? I am a slim person already, so I wasn't trying to lose weight. That wasn't my thing. Actually, I was trying to keep my weight, because when I'm under stress, I tend to lose weight. I tend to get really thin in the face. I get thin in my neck. That's how I can tell. And then I get really thin in the waist. And that's how I can tell that I'm losing weight, or I'm under some level of stress that I need to really take it easy, because I don't need to be any thinner. I'm very, very small. I'm petite, and I am happy with my weight. I am happy with the way I look. I just don't want to be any thinner. So I had to be very careful and strategic as to how I was going to go about cleansing, the detoxing, and eating, and limiting the amount of starches that I was taking in, limiting the dairies, limiting the meats and all of that. So, and just some of the junk food. I'm not a big junk food eater, but or just in general, I'm not a big junk food eater, but I did consume a lot of junk at home. I have kids, so unfortunately there was a lot of the Oreos, a lot of the Doritos, a lot of cookies and cakes, and processed cookies and processed cakes. I had all of that in the house. Although I have daughters that would bake, and I would prefer them to bake from scratch. But I did purchase a lot of junk, processed junk, to pretty much satisfy my family's taste buds. So that can take a toll, and that's how that is what has led me to the health and wellness journey for myself and for my family, and bringing it to you all. So with that being said, I'm trying not to be so long-winded, but at the end of the day, I changed my diet. What did I do? I pretty much started doing a lot of juicing, a lot of smoothies in the mornings. I tried a lot of different things, to be honest, and until I found something that fit, my lifestyle, that fit my routine, my morning routine, my lifestyle, what I like, the food that I enjoy eating, the quality of food that I enjoy eating. All of that I had to kind of like navigate and put it together. I did watch a lot of YouTube videos. I did follow a lot of people that had their personal ways of healthy eating and introducing detoxes and cleansings. And I took a lot of some of their ideas, some of their tips, and incorporated into mine and made my own personal health routine. And that is how that is how I was able to put something together for myself, for my family, and able to introduce something to all of you who are interested in the program. So pretty much I tried the intermittent fasting. I did at one point the Ayurvedic style, which was not really for me, but there's some of their concepts that really worked, and I took some of their concepts and added to my personal lifestyle. And I started doing the juicing. I think that really worked for me. So pretty much incorporating juicing first thing in the morning instead of the bread, the pancakes, and the toast and first thing in the morning. And I decided to just go with juicing or a smoothie, something green or something or a fruit. So I also started balancing it out and alternating it. So I would do juicing for 2 or 3 days. Whatever it is that I had in the fridge, I would either do the juicing with just vegetables, or I would switch it up to all fruits, or sometimes I will mix a little bit of both. So that is what really started really helping me, and I started noticing an immediate change, at least for me, an immediate change, because I don't think I had a lot to work on. Although I had all these mild symptoms, they weren't severe and they weren't chronic, thank God. So I think my body was able to recover really quickly and easily because I was able to put the right things in it. So it wasn't so like I said, I was doing the juicing, the smoothies. I also alternated that, a juicing equipment versus a blender to do your smoothies. I have both, so I pretty much balance them out. Every now and then I will switch it up because sometimes I do want the pulp. So I end up blending a lot of my vegetables, my veggies. And what I mean by the vegetables, I would do the celery, the kale, the spinach, the cilantro, the parsley, mix all of that up, and sometimes add a little bit of the garlic, a little bit of garlic cloves and ginger, turmeric, just a little bit of all of that. You add that if you can't really take the taste, which is pretty much very bland. that combination that I mentioned, you could add a green apple to it and add a little bit of sweetness or a little bit of bitterness, which our bodies need. And that is what I started incorporating. After I started doing a lot of the juicing in the mornings, I also had a big meal, which was pretty much what I really look forward to, a really nice big meal that had the rice and beans, that had the meat, that had the chicken, that had a nice salad. You know, I was able to eat whatever I wanted throughout the middle of the day. So I didn't necessarily do intermittent fasting. Or you can call it that, but I didn't call it that because I wasn't eating from 11 to this. You know, I just make sure that first thing in the morning, I had my routine, which was my prayer, my drinking my water, my lemon water. And then from that, you know, I started my day having to take my son to school and things like that, where I was able to do the juicing either before or after, depending on how I was running with time. And then between, I would say 12 and 1, I would feel a little bit hungry. And that's where I would eat my heaviest meal. That was where I would eat my lunch, my leftover meal from the night before, or I would make myself a fresh salad or some yams and some fish or whatever it was, where I was not just eating salad. Like, my body cannot just take salad. I love a salad. I love a great salad. I could take a vegan salad. I don't necessarily need to have meat. But I can't eat salad all day. I can't just eat salad. This is for me personally, because I am a small frame, thin person. I need a little bit more than just salad, right? And also, I want to keep weight. I'm not trying to lose weight. So like I said, I had to be strategic about what I was doing. So I had a nice healthy meal throughout the day. I was able to snack on either fruit, snack on some healthy pita chips with perfect blend sauces, with my cilantro sauce, with my pesto sauce, with my chutney. I was able to have those things, or any other, your avocado dip, any type of, you know, favorite dip that you have. I was able to, you are able to do that. But that is what I did, and making sure I had fresh fruits all the time, so I didn't always go to the snack cabinet eating, you know, the chocolates or eating the popcorn chips or whatever. Although I did restock healthier options for myself, and if anybody else wanted in the house, they can help themselves. But I decided to go more with fruit, so I did a lot of tangerines, a lot of apples, a lot of mangoes, a lot of citrus also, guys. I did a lot of grapefruit. That was my go-to. And just eating up grapefruit, cutting them, slicing them with the oranges, apples. And that was really one of my main go-to snacks. Also with lots of nuts, lots of the macadamia nuts, the trail mix. I also love those. So while I'm working on the computer, I would, you know, start getting hungry. That's when I was able to, you know, put that together, because sometimes fruits can get boring, right? You don't want to just do fruits. You got to switch your snacks up so you don't get bored and then end up having a big piece of chocolate cake. I've done that before, and we don't want to keep doing that. So you got to switch it up, because sometimes if you stick with just one specific meal plan or regimen, it gets really boring. Your body gets tired of it, and you don't want that. So you gotta switch it up. Don't be so stringent on one specific snack. I'm only doing fruits. You can do that for maybe 2 or 3 days. And then by the 3rd or 4th day, switch it up. You know, switch up the fruits, or switch up that fruit in general. Don't do fruits. Do nuts. Do granolas. Do a fruit smoothie, a cold fruit smoothie, like a pliable. Those are delicious. My husband is hooked on those things. And I tell them, stop spending all that money. He can make his own, because I have all the stuff to make it, all the ingredients, fresh ingredients to make a delicious fruit bowl. So that is pretty much some of the things that like I said, some of the processes that I went through to get my body back to how it is now, where I am feeling 100 times much better. Like after doing my, what my mom recommended, I did the herbs for a couple of weeks, and I just continued doing them. I just didn't do them as much as before. So every night I have some tea, but it's not just regular box tea. It's actual medicinal tea that is intentional to clean up my system, to detox my system, or to help me relax. So from the teas, I went to the food, the fruits, the smoothies, and the food. And I also had to add going outside. I am not someone who's big on exercise. I do highly recommend exercise for everyone, including people of small frame, people that are not overweight. It's exercise is not just for people that are overweight, guys. It's for everyone. I need to do more of it, but I also realize that although I am small framed, I'm slim, I still needed to like work out some cardio, right? Because I'm not a very good runner. I don't like running, but when I do, I'm like out of breath. When I do some jogging, I go outside. I have my kids' high school is right up the street, and they have a track and field, and I'm able to do some laps. And when when I started doing this and running some laps, I was out of breath. Sister girl was out of breath. And I'm like, okay, Tamara, you need to get out here more. You need to do more cardio. You need to work on your heart. You need to, really build some level of strength, endurance, like all of this stuff. I was just like, I couldn't believe it. So that's when I started doing a little bit more of that, going outside, getting some fresh air, walking out, in my backyard. If it was super cold out, I would just do laps on my backyard. So that really started really helping me out. My husband has all these gym equipment in our basement. Do I ever use them? No. For you guys, you should start using your equipment. Our equipment, for me, I barely go on a treadmill. He has all these stuff downstairs. I don't know half of them, but I do know the treadmill very well. He has weights. He has all these awesome things downstairs that he uses, and sometimes my girls uses, but I think I'm the only one in the household at one point that did not use those things. But at one point when it started snowing outside in the winter, I had to start. I was like, Tamara, it's not all just the food you're changing, you're eating, but you also have to incorporate exercise. So I would get on that treadmill, 3-5 minutes, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm exhausted. And I would do my best to stick it out for 15, 20, 30 minutes. And as I did it more and more, guys, I built up more endurance. So I was able to stay on the treadmill for 30 minutes, for 40 minutes. And I was just like amazed with myself. I was so proud of myself. And I'm like, I can do this, right? I can do this. Not only was I feeling much better, I was more energetic. I was able to do so much. So incorporating the food, the juicing in the morning, eating a real nice, healthy, hearty meal throughout the day really boost my energy. I was able, like I said, to multitask. I was able to do so much in a short period of time. And I had that mental clarity, which I love, where I was able to focus. I was able to think things through right away. I was able to make quicker decisions without overthinking it and struggling and saying I need some time. It was just a matter of, yes, this is what I want to do. This is not what I want to do, etc. Working with my kids, getting them from point A to point B, just being like on time with stuff, just being able to just be so productive. I was just like, yes, I got to stick with this. And in time, I really got a hang of it, and I loved it. Anytime that I would fall off, it would be because I would be away on a weekend, or during conventions. Sometimes it can be a little challenging because I'm doing so much, and it tends to be challenging throughout that whole week. So sometimes I may fall off for a day or two, but I'm able to get back on because my body can't tolerate junk. It just can't, not for long. If I have something that I'm craving, I have it. I would have that mac and cheese with 10 different cheeses. I would have the spare ribs. I would have, I don't know, whatever sweets, that decadent cake, right? That chocolate cake, that triple chocolate cake. And then, but once I have it once, guys, or twice within the day, if I take a piece early in the day and before, later in the evening for dinner, I really don't really want it the next day. My body's like, okay, we had enough. You've satisfied the taste buds. Can you, your taste buds or your cravings, can we not do this again? This is just my body talking to me. My taste buds may want it, but mentally and physically, my body's reminding me that if I eat too much of this stuff, you're gonna start having these pains. You're gonna start having these discomforts. You're gonna start having these brain fogs. You're gonna start. So guess what? Whenever my body reminds me, I no longer want it. I don't crave for it. So I don't crave for as much junk as I used to. That doesn't mean that if I see something that looks really good, I'm gonna be like, no, I can't have it. No, I don't do that. I'm not extreme. I love to eat. I'm a big fan of food. I am open to trying different things. I'm very traditional, not traditional, but I love international foods, and I'm open to trying different things. I love food. Okay, I am a big foodie, but I do realize that I have to be careful as to the consumption of certain things, right? Over consuming certain things. Also having discipline as to what I'm eating, how often I'm eating it. Like, I don't need to have mac and cheese 4 days a week. Like, if you make a big thing of mac and cheese for your family, make enough for at least 2 days. By the third day, it needs to be gone out the house. You don't need to make so much mac and cheese where you're eating it for 4, 5, 6 days. That's unhealthy. Right? I had to learn that because I am a big meal prepper. So I used to make a lot of rice. I would make 2, 3, 4 different types of rice for the week. That's unhealthy. We don't need to be eating rice every day. We don't. I know Caribbean folks may come after me. My Latin family may come after me. My Asian families may come after me. But guys, we don't. Especially not the foods, how our foods are processed nowadays. Maybe in the Caribbean, we may say, oh, back in the days when our parents used to eat, this is what we used to eat. Yes, I agree. I used to eat rice every single day. But the way our food is processed now, sometimes it's not even rice. We don't know what we're eating, right? Which leads to all these conditions, health conditions, right? We don't know if it's really rice, plastic, a mixture of junk. Right? So that is why we have to be very careful as to our consumption of certain things. Going with fresh fruits and vegetables, we have more to gain with those things because those are live foods. Those are healthier for us, and compared to like dead foods, right? Just food that's just been sitting there, processed foods. I'm not saying not to have those at all. I think it's just a matter of discipline, limiting some of those things, not having them so much, not consuming them so much in our everyday diet. If you go out to eat, you can do that once in a while, but you actually purchasing this stuff, bringing it into your home, cooking it, feeding it to your kids, and then your kids go out and still eat the same stuff from school, from their friend's home, from church, from wherever. When we go out to eat, it's like we're over consuming all this processed stuff or all these unhealthy foods. Meanwhile, we're still cooking it at home. So it's just a balance. I'm not telling people not to have this, go vegan, go raw, do this, do that, do keto. I'm not saying that. That is a personal choice. If you have a health condition and you need to go vegan for 6 months, go vegan for 6 months. You will reap the benefits. You will see the changes in your health. I do recommend people doing some of these regimens for a short period of time. It may be a long period of time, but that doesn't mean that's what you have to do for the rest of your life. That is a personal choice. But I do recommend going vegan for a couple of months, going raw, doing raw foods for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, as long as you can go raw, eating raw foods for a short period of time to just regenerate your body, to get your body back to a better balance, to get you to cleanse your body, to detox your body, to make you feel better. Sometimes we have to take a break, right? Like everybody's like, why vegan? This, you don't have to go vegan all your life. It's a personal lifestyle. That is a choice, but you don't have to do it. That is a personal choice. But that is not something that people should be forcing people. If you don't go vegan, it's the end of the world and all of this stuff. People that are extreme, I'm not extreme on things like that. I am a big advocate of healthy eating. I am a big advocate of consuming natural and organic foods when it comes to your fruits, your vegetables, your grains. All of these things are extremely important, and introducing that to your family and friends. I think that we all should be an advocate of healthy eating, wellness, health and wellness. Advocating for our families and, helping people and wean them out of all these unnecessary medications when food can be our medicine, right? We all know that. We all hear it a million times. It tends to sound really corny at times, but it is. That is, if you try it, you will know for yourself. You have to experience it for yourself. Unfortunately, we wait until we are diagnosed with a condition, diagnosed with some ailment before we decide to take action, before we decide to get rid of all the junk in our cabinets, before we are diagnosed with aches and pains and cancer and kidney disease and colon. All of these things can be avoided, or we can use preventive care, preventive measures through our lifestyle, through exercising, through dieting properly, to providing our families and ourselves with the proper nutrition, right? So that is pretty much it. I think I rambled a whole lot. I think I went off my topic a little bit, but I was talking about myself and then I led to everybody else. But pretty much is letting you know why I wanted to share this program with all the moms. Is also because throughout this journey, I bumped into a lot of moms that were going through similar situations like me. They had the cramps, they had the headaches, they had all these little mild conditions. Others were more severe than others. Some became chronic. Others, I found out they had lupus. Others had kidney issues. I went through watching certain close friends of mine that I love dearly go through certain health conditions that were devastating. I mean, devastating, where I really thought that I was going to lose this person. And it was just so hard to watch them go through these changes, where this person was healthy, alive, and just full of life, to a point where you couldn't even see them in their bodies. Like, you couldn't find that person anymore because of this chronic ailment that really took over them. And when some of these things can be prevented if we pay attention, if we catch it at an early stage, where we're not just stating, oh, it's just an ache from working outside. That can be the case if you are working, if you are a contractor, you working on the field and you doing some strenuous work. It may be that. So you just need to monitor it. After a long period of time, if you notice that this thing is still going on, this ache and pain and headache, or whatever situation is going on, if you notice you have your skin is changing, you're having these patches and rashes and pain and discomfort, these things is just your body knocking, letting you know, hey, there is something wrong. Can you pay attention, please? Like, let's not wait until our bodies knock the door out. Literally, where It's as if the fireman is just knocks your door, breaks through your door for you to like wake up and pay attention and say there's a fire in your house. Why would we want that? If there's a gentle knock, okay, let's see what's going on. How can I help you? Okay, maybe I'm under a little bit of stress. Okay, maybe I did too much this weekend. I took too much. I was handling too much, and I had too much on my plate. This was too much. Okay, let's see what I can do about it. Maybe I overate. Maybe I'm cooking with too much salt. Maybe I'm eating too much meat. Maybe I'm eating too late. Maybe whatever it is, try to figure out what it is. Be honest with yourself and say, what is going on? Why are you overeating? Why are you under eating? For me, because I was going through so much stress, I was not eating enough. So I did notice that I was losing weight. So being honest with yourself and really like focusing, paying attention to what you're doing throughout the day, really making or taking a mental note as to, okay, today it's 2 o'clock and I haven't eaten anything. Why? Because you're working so much. Depending on what you're doing as nurses, I know I used to work on the floors, and there were times where our entire staff has yet to eat. We just in labor and delivery, or the chemo floor when I worked at NYU. Sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, it's 2 o'clock and we have yet to eat, and we've been here since 7. All we keep doing is drinking coffee. We'll send one of us, one of the nurses will go out to the Starbucks literally downstairs, or we would order it and they would deliver it upstairs, like 7-8 cups of Starbucks coffee. And that is what we were running on. That is completely unhealthy. I know a lot of my nurses, a lot of my doctors, my teachers, and you name it, everybody else in between. We live off of that, but we got to question, why are we doing this? We need nutrition, not coffee. We need nutrition. So we need the carrot sticks on the on the nurse's counter, or or wherever you work, or you packing your own healthy snack, the carrots, the cucumbers, the celery sticks, that's what you need. The nuts, a trial mix of healthy nuts, all of that, that's what we need. If we notice that you're not eating properly, or you're overeating, or you eating a lot of junk, you need to really be honest with yourself and say, hey, you're gaining all this weight because you're eating late. You're gaining all this weight because you're snacking on a lot of sweets. You're gaining all this weight because of this, or your blood pressure is acting up because you're eating too much sodium, or you're eating out too much and the food out there is not healthy. All these things we got to really like focus on, right? So that is just pretty much, I touched up on more of the food. There are other conditions or situations that or other things that we need to also focus on besides food, but I wanted to really talk about food today. The other things that I can talk about in the next video, because I'm running 42 minutes, my goodness. The next video is pretty much your mental state, as to why we're eating, your mental status, your mental, your emotional state, and your spiritual state. What do you believe? What do you believe about yourself? What is your faith? And as to how it correlates with the way you think about yourself. All those things are important because they all come, at the end of the day, they all come together. They all support each other. So that is one of the videos that I will do next, to talk a little bit more about that, our mental status when it comes to eating and our health, pretty much our health and wellness in general, and what we envision for ourselves for our health, right? And how we can pretty much focus on that, transition on that, and start that journey to a better health, to improving our health for ourselves, for our families, for our friends, people around us. For me, is myself first, because if I'm not well, then I can't make anybody else well. I'm not very helpful to anyone if I'm myself falling apart and I'm unstable. I can't focus. I'm a wreck. I'm not a good help. So we always have to start with ourselves. We work on ourselves, and then we can help others. And understand that our personal journey is not necessarily going to be the same for someone else. So what worked for me doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for somebody else, but you can start helping them, giving them tips. You can encourage them that it is possible for them to improve their health because you are able to do it, but they can find their own personal journey, their own personalized way of incorporating a healthier lifestyle. So yes, guys, that is it. So I hope and pray that this video was helpful. I just felt like I needed to let you guys know, to share with you all as to the reasoning behind the Well Nourished Mom program that I have together, and to give you a sense of my personal background. I am grateful that I don't have, or I don't know that I have any chronic issues where, I have to be on medication or anything like that. And I thank God for that. And I also thank God that I was able to catch these things early, because if I didn't do anything about it, at the time that I did, it probably could have worsened, where I end up on medication or I end up at the hospital or whatever it is. So I'm glad that I was able to take action, although I felt like it took me years to take action. It took me a good almost 4 years to take action. Daniel was 4 when I decided to really do something about it, because I just felt like I could no longer continue. So I'm grateful that I took action at that state, and I didn't wait for it to progress and get worse. I didn't keep ignoring it and self-diagnose myself. So I am grateful for that. And I'm grateful that I was able to be an advocate for myself, not just taking up what the doctor said, and not just taking up on what the blood work stated, the blood results stated that everything looks perfectly fine. So I was able to say, okay, what the doctor says sounds good, what the paper says sounds good, but I don't feel good. So there's a problem. So I was grateful that I was able to really take action, be an advocate for myself, and get me to where I am. Researching, trying things, being open to trying different things until I found something that worked for me. And I am so grateful that I was able to take this journey. And that is why I want to share that journey with you all and pretty much help you get to your best self. Not just for moms. I'm really focused on moms because I'm around a lot of moms, but I also have really great advice and tips. And this program will also fit any males, any men that are interested, that are also, struggling with their health, struggling with their weight. This is also for you. This program will be great for anyone that is looking to get back their health, their physical health, their mental health, their emotional health. All of this is really good because the process that I took was very helpful to me. All right, that is it, guys. I am so grateful for you all. I pray that you are doing well, that you received this message well, that I could be a help to you, that if you have any questions, please reach out to me. Don't hesitate to reach out to me. I am open to answering your questions the best way that I know how. I also wanted to mention that I am not your doctor. Disclaimer, medical disclaimer. I am not your doctor. I am no one's doctor, right? As I am working on my nutritional certification, I will be a certified nutritionist in a couple of months, and I am able to give you the best nutritional advice as I can, as possible. I'm able to put together recipe plans for you all, but I am not your doctor. If you feel like, if you are having any medical concerns, health concerns, you should reach out to your doctor. Now, I will add that going to your doctor and letting your doctor know that you're going to be doing herbs, you are going to be doing juicing and detoxifying. A lot of times, depending on your doctor, if you don't have a holistic doctor, they are not going to always support that route. So a lot of doctors are really going to push their medication. So be very careful about, you know, how you're going to present this to your doctor, because sometimes they will pretty much talk you into going with the medications instead of a natural way of healing yourself, right? So that is something that you have to really consider as to how you are going to present this to your doctor. But like I said, disclaimer that I am not your doctor. I am no one's doctor. These are just natural advice that you can take. It's really up to you, that you can try these things to help you and alleviate some of your health conditions, some of your aches, your pains, and your discomfort, okay? Through natural healing, through natural eating, through natural detoxifying without any medications. Okay, so that is it, guys. Let's wrap it up. I hope you are well and safe, and I will see you guys next time. Be blessed. Bye.